Keeping the social leg of the three-legged stool. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. Let's continue this discussion we've been having about keeping the Conservative coalition together. I've talked about the three-legged stool before. Some describe it as being defense conservatives as one leg, economic conservatives the second, social conservatives the third. With the three-legged stool, you need each part or the stool becomes very unstable. But for some reason, I keep hearing from people who say the Conservative Party needs to forget about social conservatives, that social issues are a losing battle. Some even claim the Conservatives lost because they took their focus off the economy. They talked about social issues in the last election. Is that true? Look, earlier I showed you the Conservatives didn't lose the election because they lost their base or even that swing voters abandoned them. With more than 5.6 million votes, they still outpaced their own tallies from 2006 and 2008. They only dropped 200,000 votes from the 2011 election. But the problem, as I've shown you, is that the Liberals increased their vote tally by more than 4 million, from 2.7 million to 6.9. And they did this by bringing in new voters, which often happens when governments change. It happened in 2006 when the Conservatives won. So you can't say the Conservatives lost because they talked about social issues like the niqab. First off, this was an issue forced into the campaign by a court ruling dropped in the middle of September. Secondly, the vast majority of Canadians, according to polls, more than 3/4 in fact, agreed with the Conservative viewpoint. And thirdly, this was an issue the media brought up time and again, not the Conservatives. And the media did it mostly to hector and condemn anyone that thought showing your face while swearing an oath just made sense. So when you have conservative-minded Canadians saying the Conservatives lost over issues like the niqab, they're simply buying into an incorrect left-wing media narrative not based in fact. As for the much-talked-about tip line, give me a break. It wasn't a factor in anyone's vote for or against the Conservatives. Saying that you will not campaign on social issues, by the way, is essentially saying you're going to give the left wing an entire playing field to themselves. Because I'll fill you in on a secret. The left pretty much only campaigns on social issues. They want national daycare. That's a social issue. They want a higher minimum wage. That's a social issue. They want bigger payouts to parents, a double in pension. Those are all social issues for them. There are economic and reasoned responses to those ideas, but the left, they're going to campaign on the social side and they're going to play to emotion, not reason. Let's go a little further afield into dangerous territory and talk about abortion. When was the last time a Conservative Party of any kind campaigned on abortion? Not in all my years covering politics, and yet there it is every election. Liberals or the NDP bring it up to say that electing a Conservative-leaning government is going to mean the end of abortion, or that electing them will see the expansion of abortion. Justin Trudeau did just that the last election. He promised to push provinces to open up to even more abortions and claimed the Conservatives under Stephen Harper would mean ending a woman's right to choose. Trudeau said that with no pushback from the Conservatives, even though Stephen Harper did nothing to stop abortion in Canada while Prime Minister and essentially did everything he could in his party to stifle debate or even a mention of the issue. But now some Conservatives say it's time to shove the SoCons out of the party, especially those pesky pro-lifers. But why do that? Is Canada universally pro-abortion? Not at all. Neither is it pro-life, by the way. Decades of polling on the issue shows Canadians don't want abortion banned, but a majority want some kind of restriction, such as limiting when an abortion can take place, as most developed countries already do. Polling also shows that the public isn't wild, or at least they're divided about public money being used for abortion. So while campaigning on abortion as a central issue may not be a winning formula, neither is it the death knell some seem to think. This week, pro-lifers are going to gather on Parliament Hill for the March for Life. This is the largest protest rally on the Hill most years. It's the biggest protest movement in Canada without a political home. Conservatives can win on social issues, by the way, if they learn to craft the message correctly and then not be afraid of that social issue. In the 2006 election campaign, the promise was made to give parents $100 a month for each kid under 6. That was a response to the left's call for a national daycare program. Guess what? Parents liked it. They responded by rewarding the Conservatives with their votes. So, newsflash for you, that was a social issue, not an economic one. The truth is, people's lives are about more than their income, more than their bank account, more than the central bank rate, the GDP numbers, the trade numbers. We're complex people. We lead complex lives. For political parties, that means finding solutions that appeal to all of the aspects of voters' lives, not just the number crunching side of things. It also helps to draw in new voters. I mean, how many people voted Conservative for the first time in '06 because of that $100 a month payment, then stuck around because they liked what they saw? We don't have hard numbers on that, but I'm willing to bet it's not an insignificant number. Conservatives becoming a one-issue party focused exclusively on economics may sound like an easy answer to a difficult defeat, but it won't lead to victory anytime soon.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.